The Times in Scotland, where kids who think that they're trans will no longer be prescribed puberty blockers, but they'll still be allowed to wear a kilt and see if they like it, Lewis.
It's a good look. And you get attention because people are always asking what's underneath there. So at least people are going to come and talk to you.
Yeah,
anyway.
now with modern gender surgery, people aren't really sure.
They are
real Russian roulette.
Yeah.
Well, they'll say find out, but come back in a few minutes and it might be different.
Okay, puberty blockers pause for children in Scotland after the Kearse review. This big Kearse review, and this is what they do in this country. They hire one person to decide on everything. And if that person makes a mistake or is a bit on the take or something.
I mean, they didn't just grab somebody randomly off the street. This is a very esteemed paediatric doctor.
Yeah, there was tons of esteemed pediatric doctors who were dealing with COVID too, if you might remember. Anyway, this is what's happened because of the Kearse review, where they've said we haven't really tested the puberty blockers. They said that the Sandiford Clinic, which is the only gender reassignment clinic in Scotland, has decided they're no longer going to give 16 to 17-year-olds puberty blockers. I guess they weren't. But they said not to worry. It's only a few. It's only 87 children who had their lives were being given the puberty blockers. So it's only 87 children whose lives have been basically ruined forever. From this thing.
And these puberty blockers, Kerry, I mean, they were sort of sold, we're told by the gender ideologists that these are safe, they're reversible, you know, if the child decides not to transition, then they can just come off them and the child will go back to normal. And that turned out to be an absolute lie. So these,
a lot of baloney,
quite often have long-term effects such as sterility and effects on the brain and bone density and stuff like that.
Yes, well, let's get into GB's favourite news story.
What about Meghan?
So this is how the Kearse report is affecting the Sandiford Clinic in Scotland, which sounds like them making changes could be considered a hate crime in Scotland these days as well. They've got to be careful of that. And I find it interesting. The clinic has said patient safety must always be our priority. Why do so many people make statements nowadays? I mean, of course it should be. I mean, that should be.
When was it not?
I know, exactly. But it's like those signs you see in businesses saying, we take abuse of our staff very seriously. Like, you should. You only need a sign to say, we don't care, abuse our staff, enjoy yourself.
But it also...
Why you need this?
It's interesting that you say that, because you never see a sign that says, we care about our customers. You never see that.
Yeah, how about us?
How about us? It's always them.
So what we're seeing now is, since the Kearse report, is the NHS all over the place are doing a complete volte-face on a whole lot of things they've been saying and doing for the last few years. Yeah. And it's been... it's fascinatingly dramatic change, hasn't it? Really, really fast. And even the language, they say here, this is the clinic saying, they understand the distress that gender incongruence can cause. We haven't heard terms like gender incongruence for a while. What we've been hearing is things about womb carriers or reverse body snatchers. I'm making that one up. But you know what I mean. These type of euphemisms. And so now we're getting into a more useful language that's actually talking about the care, individual care of children and psychological support and the words that we should have been saying the whole time.
Why is
not
that?
rushing them into transitioning?